you ever felt like you're just not qualified? I've heard people say God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. But think about it, like being outnumbered, completely outnumbered. Even David to Goliath, little boy, a giant that he's fighting against. But the battle is the Lord's. And we learn that from this spring that bubbles up. And that is coming from a mountain far away. That mountain happens to be where the rain has fallen, exactly where Gideon was raised. But now Gideon has led his army here, and this army is pretty big. His army, it was 32,000 men. And those 32,000 men get up on top of that hill and they look down and they see 135,000 from different places all convening together to fight against Israel. And this is going to be a real challenge. They're outnumbered 4-1. So it's one thing if you are fighting somebody, and as you're fighting somebody, you're thinking, can this person beat this person? Thinking back in the days, can Stallone beat up Schwarzenegger? Okay, we'll see. It's going to be a tough battle, but which one's going to win, right? In this case, 4-1 are the numbers right now. Each Israelite will have to kill 4 people from the Midianites. But God said, I don't like those numbers. I'm sure Gideon was like, yeah, me neither. Let's get some more guys. God's like, no, I want less. Yeah, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go to the people and ask them, who is afraid? Who is fearing? Who is trembling? And out of those people, just send them home. 20,000. Boom. Gone. Like the wind. I'm out of here. And now 10,000 remain. What do we do now? God says, I still don't like those numbers. You know why? Because if you win, imagine the bragging you could do. You wouldn't think it was because of me. You would think it was because of you. So this is what I want you to do. Send the men down to this very spring. Now, in this time, it was something very large. It was clean water. I want you to send the men down to this spring. You know the men are thirsty. I just came from another site. I got 2 Gatorades, not 1. I was thirsty. And let's see how they drink. And how they drink will determine who you're going to keep. And so sure enough, some people just jumped straight down and started doing a push-up and just like sucking the water. They were prostrate down on the ground. They were not alert or attentive to anything else. Maybe some were playing in the water or up to their eyeballs and going, just having fun. They weren't serious. But there were only a few men keeping on high alert because the enemy, the 135,000 could be invading at any time, went and did this. And they drank the water. They cupped it and they drank it. And the Lord said, those are the ones that I picked, 300. Does that number sound familiar? Yeah, a movie was based on it in a very different direction. So this is what happens. So now God takes these men, this elite SEAL team, if you will, and now they got to get creative. How are they going to conquer? How is 300? You thought 4-1 was tough odds. What about 450-1? That's what they had to do. But you know what I find interesting as I study the passages after this? These guys weren't going and killing a bunch of people. All they did, they came up with this incredible plot, this plan, this scheme. I believe God gave Gideon, he said, okay, we're going to break into 3 teams of 100, right? You follow me. For sure, you're going to need your torch. For sure, you need a pot, a clay pot. And for sure, your trumpet. What? Trumpets? Yeah. Here we go again. God using musical instruments, the army of Jehoshaphat. Think about that. Think about Jericho. God again says, let's use music. And so they waited until the guard changed. And when the guard changed, the guys snuck in under the darkness of night, middle of the night. And then when they got right next to the tents, on the count of 4, boom, break the pots, shattered. Imagine that. Something happened. They started battling against each other and killing each other until nobody was left except for the few that ran, and then Gideon's army went after them too. Because when they blew that trumpet, when they blew all of their trumpets, God caused an incredible confusion. God used that music, that word, sound and power to boom. But these guys, 450 to 1, were completely outnumbered. Have you ever felt like you're just not qualified? Like you don't have enough? Well, then you're the kind of person that God wants to use, because his power is made perfect in your weakness. So let him use you.